Now it's time for Toker Talk Radio, the voice of the marijuana nation.
What are you people? On dope?
Where you can toke.
I inhale frequently.
Or you can talk.
I experimented with marijuana and didn't inhale.
Or you can toke and talk.
10 federal criminal penalties for possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana.
While we talk about toke on Toker Talk Radio.
So, by the way, when it comes to pot, if you're 40 years old, you live in a log cabin in Oregon, you got 12 giant pot plants in your backyard, have a ball.
Live from beautiful Portland, Oregon at Rolla J Studios.
Hey, this is great.
Yes, not cannabis.
Plus your calls live at 971-533-7111.
They're walking on their pants with their cap on backwards, listening to Enema Man and Snoopy Poop Dog.
What's to keep somebody from getting all potted up on weed and then getting behind the wheel? Gateway theory doesn't work. It's a reality.
Holland, is it real? Don't tease me.
We're locking up people that take a couple of puffs of marijuana, and the next thing you know, they got 10 years.
And now, here's your host, the guru of ganja graphics, the sultan of sativa statistics, and the worst nightmare of a reefer mad prohibitionist. A polite, perspicacious, productive pothead with a propensity for PowerPoint. Radical Russ Belville.
Hey, that's me. Welcome back, everybody. It's 4:02 here in the Pacific time zone. We are hanging out in Rolla J Studios. We got Zane from the Big Island in. How you doing, Zane?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Zane couldn't resist. He had to come back.
Yes, had to come back. Had to return.
I attract Hawaiian interns somehow. I don't know how that works. And we've also got Anthony Johnson joining us for one last bit of Q&A. We're going to get right to it here because his time is very valuable now. Getting a lot of media requests, I imagine.
Definitely. Doing a lot of media, TV, radio, newspapers. We made LA Times, USA Today. And so it's been an exciting time for sure.
All right. So let me get to some of the quick questions here about this driving. One of the things that people, hated about the Washington 502 was this 5 nanogram per se driving limit. What does New Approach Oregon do about driving and cannabis?
We do not change driving under the influence at all. It's illegal to drive under the influence of marijuana, Percocets, Vicodin, NyQuil today. It'll still be illegal after New Approach Oregon passes, but we did not implement any type of per se DUI provision.
Fantastic news. I did see something, use of marijuana while driving being added as a Class B traffic violation. That's something new?
So no smoking while you drive.
Don't smoke and drive. You shouldn't do that anyway.
Which really is it's really to help you out.
Yeah.
Let's just not do it.
I was kind of surprised when I saw it in boldface. I thought, wait, that's not the law now? But I guess the law now is just, what it is. So.
Yeah. So, I would say that's the easiest way to get a DUI is to smoke while you're driving. So just don't do it.
Just don't do that. Okay. Bans and moratoria. We talk about the cities or the counties. It's been happening with the medical side here after the dispensary law got passed. What would happen if, say, some conservative rural county or city council or board of supervisors wants to ban growers and pot shops and all that?
So we copied the alcohol statutes, which does not allow localities to impose extra taxes on any of the products, because that could be an end around to banning.
Right. Yes. $5 million a gram.
Exactly. And we allow for localities, cities and counties to opt out of marijuana licenses, same way with alcohol, but they have to have an election of the people. Somebody has to gather signatures. You got to put it on the ballot. It has to be held in a general election in an even year. And if you do opt out, you lose your share of the revenue, where 10% goes to cities, 10% goes to counties. So we make it difficult, and we give a carrot to not opt out.
Right. If your county or city can get an initiative on the ballot and the people in your town or county want to ban it, they can, but they don't get their slice of the tax pie.
Exactly. And I believe Monmouth was the last city in Oregon that was a dry alcohol county. So we provide that local option, but you don't get to benefit from the tax revenue that'll be generated.
Okay. And advertising can be restricted or banned by the OLCC.
We do provide OLCC with the same restrictions and powers that they have in regards to alcohol. So you'll definitely see bans on advertising, close to schools, and they're going to ban, Joe Ganja Camel cartoon characters, anything that can be marketed towards children. It's going to be very much like tobacco and alcohol, how they deal with advertising.
I had a question in the chat room from Skunk 101, Canada Justice was asking about this. Suppose a adult lives with a roommate who's a recreation or a medical marijuana card holder. Could he have his 4 household plants and the medical card holder have their 6 mature medical plants?
We don't impact the medical marijuana program, so that card holder can have their 6 plants.
Okay, so the card holder's 6 plants don't affect the recreational person's 4.
Yeah, we don't. It doesn't impact the medical marijuana program and vice versa. You just want to make sure that paperwork's posted at the grow site as the OMMP mandates.
Okay, so I see the big attack that will come from the opponents is going to be, you're going to let all this out-of-state money, all this big marijuana come in. They're going to create, this huge marijuana glut, and it's inevitably going to be shipped out of state. There's going to be so much diversion. Oregon's going to be the wellspring from which all marijuana flows. How are we going to defeat that attack?
To think that big marijuana is going to become big tobacco and run roughshod over our political and regulatory system is really laughable. Big tobacco, used to be able to be totally unregulated and run commercials that smoking tobacco was good for you and they could market to children. The marijuana industry in Oregon is going to be highly regulated from the get-go. You're not going to see Philip Morris moving into Oregon and setting up big major operations, and so I think that's really, I don't think people are going to buy that. We've set it up to be like the microbrewery and winery model, and to think that the big tobaccos become big marijuana doesn't really pass the laugh test.
I agree completely. Anthony Johnson from New Approach Oregon, he's the chief petitioner. Check out the website at newapproachoregon.com. Thanks, Anthony.
Thanks so much.
Good luck. Going to take a break. We'll be back with a Radical Rant.
Radical Russ online. Visit radicalruss.com and email radicalruss@gmail.com.
Coordinate with you guys. 420 Radio, freeing your mind 24 hours a day.
Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz thinks it's okay for medical marijuana patients to go to federal prison. On May 30th, she voted against an amendment that would respect Florida's new laws and protect Florida's patients. Even though 88% of Florida voters support medical marijuana, why would Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz vote to send patients like this to prison? Is Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz out of touch with Florida?
The Russ Belville Show, weekdays at 3, 6, and 9 Pacific.
I don't use marijuana, but as a teacher of 36 years, I can tell you lots of other people use it. I don't believe in prohibition. I don't think it works. Prohibiting it hasn't stopped anybody from getting a hold of it. I would like to see it regulated so that maybe kids can't get a hold of it so easily. I know they get a hold of it now very easily. I support a new approach to marijuana. I support legalizing it. It's with us. It's not going to go away. And if we can get money through the taxation, we can also educate our kids about it. That's why I support it.
Welcome back, everybody. Almost 11 after the hour here at Rolla J Studios in beautiful Portland, Oregon. Glad to be back with you live from our home studio.
I know it sounds funny, but I just can't stand the pain. Well, I'm leaving you tomorrow. Seems I'm eager, you know I've done all I can. Well, I beg, stole, and I borrow. Yeah, that's why I'm easy. Alright,
Yeah, that's Cass Haley with his cover of Easy by the Commodores, one of my favorite covers. Happy 710 to our friends out on the East Coast. Hope you had a good dab. Well, you know, we had Anthony Johnson in here talking about legalization of marijuana. And so for the fair and balanced side, we are going to turn to our friends at Stoners Against Legalization, who give me the fodder for today's Radical Rant.
You can't handle the truth.
Entirely legitimate topic for debate.
You have offended my family.
Hey, this is great, man.
And you have offended a Shaolin temple.
One major responsibility is to encourage people to use less drugs.
I know nothing.
I support a change in law to end federal criminal penalties for possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana.
We don't need no stinking budget.
Homosexuality, immorality in general.
How in the century you have slurred the meaning of the words we, the people.
Be warned, this is not your mother's marijuana.
You could ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Radical Rant.
So you thought legalizing a half pound of marijuana would be enough to satisfy even the stoniest stoner? Think again. Welcome to Stoners Against Legalization 3, The Quest for Complaints. Yes, just like in 2010 in California and 2012 in Washington, the first loudest people to bitch about the opportunity to end the criminality of marijuana aren't the cops, but some of the criminals themselves. Try and guess whether they're affiliated with medical marijuana in any way. There was an article that was posted. The website was called raising-awareness.net, and it's a completely baseless and very shoddily researched article. And it figures it would come from some of Paul Stanford's stoned band of Hararites, the medical marijuana I Got's Mine crowd. Besides the education revealing incomplete sentences, for example, the bad news is our initiative, the one by the people for the people, and homophone fails like their intentions, T-H-E-R-E. Besides all of that, it's just plain factually wrong. Let me give you some examples. Quote, New Approach Oregon puts more people into the legal system through fines and stricter punishments for persons under 21. End quote. No, it does not. As you heard Anthony Johnson state, it makes things no worse for someone under the age of 21 than it already is. And in fact, it actually reduces the penalties possible for minors and reduces the chance of being harassed in the first place by ending the contraband nature of marijuana. Another complaint, quote, It completely dissolves Oregon's already existing Oregon medical marijuana program, end quote. Absolute lie. I shall read to you from New Approach Oregon. Section 4, Limitations. Sections 3 to 70 of this act may not be construed to amend or affect in any way the Oregon Medical Marijuana Act. Pretty cut and dried. Oh, and furthermore, you also get this. Section 58. Marijuana laws supersede and repeal inconsistent charters and ordinances. Sections 3 to 70 of this act, designed to operate uniformly throughout the state, shall be paramount and superior to and shall fully replace and supersede any and all municipal charter enactments or local ordinances inconsistent with it. Such charters and ordinances hereby are repealed. In other words, any of the current moratoriums or bans in your city or county are repealed. And your city or county has to get a vote of the people to enact any new bans. Another complaint, quote, "It doesn't legalize industrial hemp," end quote. It doesn't have to. Oregon already has legalized industrial hemp. Our legislature passed it. It's Oregon Revised Statute 571.300. It's already legal in Oregon to grow industrial hemp. And New Approach Oregon has a Section 80 in it that further improves the legalization of hemp. You know what the problem is with Oregon's hemp legalization, as it is in any state that has legalized hemp, is that the feds won't give out those permits to allow you to grow the hemp, right? The feds aren't going to give it out. Even that has changed because the Farm Bill that just passed has an amendment in it that says if the states have already passed hemp laws, they can go ahead and start planting research crops. But beyond that, it adds in paragraph 5 of section 80, quote, "The department," that would be the OLCC that gives out the licenses for all this, or the agricultural department, excuse me, that gives out the licenses for hemp. Number 5 paragraph, quote, "The department may not revoke or refuse to issue or renew an industrial hemp license or an agricultural hemp seed production permit on the basis that industrial hemp production or possession or commerce in industrial hemp commodities or products is prohibited by federal law." So New Approach Oregon actually takes away from state bureaucrats the ability to say, oh, but it's against federal law. They can't use that after New Approach Oregon passes. So anybody who applies for a hemp growing license, so long as they qualify under the hemp growing law, cannot be denied because it's federally illegal. Here's another quote from the Stoners Against Legalization. "It's the same bill that recently passed in Washington." Completely false. Other than the words New Approach that begin the names of both campaign organizations in Washington and Oregon, other than that, they are completely different groups, completely different people, and completely different language. I mean, for instance, Washington banned home grow and has a per se DUID. Oregon does not. They continued by adding, quote, referring to Washington, "And they're paying up to 300% more per gram than when it was illegal," end quote. Yes, they are. And we won't be, because we will have wide open licensing. We will have plenty of registered growers and supply, and we won't have Washington State's 25% plus 25% plus 25% plus sales taxes. Our taxes will be capped at $35 an ounce. They continue to complain, quote, "It has more taxes than CRRH's bill." CRRH, that was Paul Stanford's bill that didn't get enough signatures. The two of them that didn't get enough signatures. That didn't make the ballot. Who cares if something that didn't make the ballot has a lower tax rate? It doesn't mean jack. And besides, you think $35 an ounce for a tax is too crazy? That's too high for you? $1.25 a gram is too much to pay? And they conclude their complaints with, quote, "They are using the guise of helping, they are using the guise of helping fund schools as a tactical and dishonest public relations stunt." A stunt to accomplish what? New Approach Oregon is dedicating 40% of the marijuana tax revenue to schools. There's nothing dishonest about that, unless somehow you think funding schools is inherently bad. I mean, folks, you can wish for the perfect legalization all you like, but the fact is that money isn't buying the people of Oregon. Money is required to enact political change. Worship all you like at the altar of perfection, but without money, you're just jerking off. Besides, Paul Stanford had his shot at perfect legalization in 2012 and failed spectacularly with 46% of the vote, while Washington and Colorado were passing with 55% of the vote. All right, it's 4:20 here in the Pacific time zone. Time for us to take our own safety meeting. When we come back, we've got Gordon Green calling in with our Irie Wednesday Daily Toker Tunes from Kaimani Marley. We're going to get high. Stay tuned. We're back after this.
.420 Radio, your ticket to Seattle Hemp Fest.
Join us for the International Cannabis Business Conference September 13th and 14th in the Portland Ballroom at the Oregon Convention Center. The International Cannabis Business Conference will focus on the emerging cannabis industry in Oregon, the United States, and around the world, putting you in front of the industry's foremost entrepreneurs, political leaders, and attorneys. Also showcasing over 40 cannabis-related industry exhibitors, offering VIP lunches and free nightly networking events. Prepare yourself for America's next great industry.
The pistachio. Green, natural, and available without prescription in all 50 states. He's fine.
NORMAL stands for Responsible Adult Cannabis Use. If cannabis use is causing problems in your life, consider taking a break or seeking medical assistance. Consider ceasing cannabis use if you have a family history of mental illness. Don't drive or operate heavy machinery while impaired by cannabis use. Cannabis use is not without risks, even though the risks may be far less than those posed by legal drugs.
Are you a hypocrite? If you live a closeted cannabis lifestyle, you are. Read about 7 people living a closeted cannabis lifestyle who are on the verge of coming out in The Hypocrites by Mara K. Eaton. Available at areyouahypocrite.net. You can purchase the book on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, also available on iTunes. Check out Mara K. Eaton on Facebook as well. Learn more at areyouahypocrite.net. At Herbie's Cannabis Seeds, we pride ourselves on bringing you the best quality seeds from the world's most respected cannabis seed producers, all at the lowest online prices. You can find Herbie's Seeds at herbiesheadshop.com. All cannabis seeds are sold as souvenirs and as a means of preserving cannabis genetics. Herbie's Seeds in no way intends to condone, promote, or incite the use of illegal or controlled substances. We strongly urge all prospective customers to check their national laws prior to placing an order. Herbie's Seeds at herbiesheadshop.com. Proud sponsors of The Russ Belville Show and 420 Radio.
Everyone knows music and marijuana go together, so let's wind up our 20 after break with the Russ Belville Show's Daily Toker Tunes, the best in pod-safe 420 music from around the web. Today is Irie Wednesday, featuring reggae, ska, and other world music genres. Now, sit back and enjoy your Daily Toker Tunes.
Welcome back, everybody. It's 24 after the hour, and today is a perfect day to get Irie as we bask in the glow of getting Oregon legalization on the ballot. We got Gordon Green from Gordon Green's Music Planet on the line with us. How you doing, Gordon?
Hey, Russ, I'm doing great, man. I'm in the Twin Cities. It's a beautiful day, and feeling Irie out here.
All right. What brings you to Minnesota?
Visiting my brother, actually.
Very cool.
And going to be here about 3 weeks. And just done some traveling. Went up to Canada for a while. Went to Edmonton and Calgary, and doing a little traveling in the next few months.
That's fantastic. That's how we get more and more music for the Music Planet. I'm sure you pick up stuff everywhere you go.
I try to, man.
So speaking of the Music Planet, we've got another edition coming up tonight at 5 o'clock, right after this hour, and again at 8 o'clock. Those times are Pacific time. What do we got in the hopper for tonight?
Winding down with the summer replays. This was episode 14 a couple of months back, and it celebrates women around the world. Got a nice set of music from women all over the country, or all over the world. France, Africa, Greece, Portugal, and it's a great show, and it's really diverse, and I think you'll dig it.
All right. Looking forward to that tonight, 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock on Gordon Green's Music Planet. Check it out. Now, for today, for our Daily Toker Tunes, we've got one of the Marley family, one of the many numbers of Marley family out there. Tell us about the artist and the tune.
This is Kaimani Marley, and I saw that he had a new single out that I hadn't heard yet, and found this on YouTube. This is a single. I don't find it on any of his albums, so maybe it's just been released as a single. But it had a great accompanying video and great song, actually, perfect for the show, perfect for Ivory Wednesday. It's called Get High by Kaimani Marley.
All right, let's do it. This is Kaimani Marley with Get High.
Right. Peace out, Russ.
Peace out.
One big body girl, me a white pan baka. 2 bag of weed, some papers and grab a make we get high. Go and build a spliff bonnet and push it into the sky. We get high. We get high. We get high, yeah, yeah. Ooh, so come follow me. Cause I make the girl them a pray. No boy a chat but that no worry with. Make them know so we no stall out. And the shot of them they all bout. Guinness a plate of me under my senses. And you know me bunny plenty. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Me bunny plenty, yeah. One big body girl me a wine from baka. 2 bag of weed, some papers and grab a make we get high. One build a split bonnets and push it into the sky. We get high. We get high. We get high, yeah, yeah. Ooh, so come follow me. Cause we up on the best trees. And we know such as a blessed way. So no matter how them fight it, anywhere with them we light it. Guinness a bit of me under my senses. And the girl them they are plenty. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Them they are plenty, yeah. One big body girl me a wine from baka. 2 bag of weed, some papers and grab a make we get high. One build a split bonnets and push it into the sky. We get high. We get high. We get high, yeah, yeah. Ain't nobody tryna leave until we die, yeah, 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 yeah. We're not gonna live here tonight. So all I drink, I must split fun and get tight till the sunrise. Yeah, 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 yeah. Until the sunrise, we get high. One big body girl me a wine from baka. 2 bag of weed, some papers and grab a make we get high. One build a split bonnets and push it into the sky. We get high. We get high. We get high, yeah, yeah. Ooh, so come follow me. Run, come follow me. Ain't nobody trying to leave until we're tired tonight. No fuss, no fights. We come get high.
420 Radio, your ticket to the High Times Cannabis Cups. The Marijuana Business Association, or MJBA, are proud sponsors of the Russ Belville Show. It is the mission of the MJBA to establish integrity and legitimacy, create common market standards, provide market intelligence, and develop best ethical business practices for participants in the emerging legal marijuana industry, including commercial hemp, medical marijuana, and recreational marijuana for adults. Learn more about the Marijuana Business Association and visit mjba.net to join today. That's mjba.net. The law offices of Omar Figueroa would like to remind you to stand up for your rights. If you are detained or arrested, treat law enforcement with respect and stand up for your rights by repeating, "I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search and seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to speak with my attorney." Please contact the law offices of Omar Figueroa at 415-489-0420 or 707-829-0215 or on the web at omarfigueroa.com. 420radio.org presents Gordon Green's Music Planet from Barcelona, Spain. Gordon Green has been traveling the world for more than 20 years, discovering and collecting great music along the way. His mix of eclectic sounds from around the globe prove that you don't have to understand the words to enjoy the music. Check out the show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Time with replays Wednesday at 5 and 8 Pacific on 420radio.org.
You know Herb Thrasher from the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour. Now get ready for Herb Age Designs for the proud cannabis consumer. Herb Age Designs, lifestyle gear for the 420 friendly. Herb Age Designs, we've got Frisbee golf discs and durable hemp gear. Herb Age Designs, we've got shot glasses, drinking glasses, coffee mugs, and beer cozies. Check us out on Facebook and online at herbagedesigns.com and follow Herb Age and Herb Thrasher on Twitter.
The International Cannabis Business Conference takes place September 13th and 14th at the Portland Ballroom in the Oregon Convention Center in Portland, Oregon. Featured speakers include Oregon Senator Floyd Przansky, U.S. Congressman Earl Blumenauer, Daily Dish blogger Andrew Sullivan, author Doug Fine, and Harborside CEO Steve D'Angelo. To learn more, visit our website at internationalcbc.com.
Look straight ahead in the distance, so yeah, there's a night crawler. Yeah, you better move quick, don't you know she's a night stalker. Look straight ahead in the distance, so yeah, there's a night crawler. Yeah, you better move quick, don't you know she's a night stalker. So take away all the love that you feel, yeah. She wanna suck up and steal. She wants to look around town with her wicked eyes.
All right, more great music there from Revolution. That's Nightcrawler here on Toker Talk Radio. And remember, if you like the music that we're playing in our daily Toker tunes, you can get more of it by listening to our replay blocks of other shows, our partner shows that run from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Pacific Time. During those replay hours, the podcasts from producers all across the United States, Canada, and Europe will play between the top of the hour and 45 minutes after. From 45 minutes after on, it's Daily Toker Tunes. So you can catch some of that music at the bottom of every hour between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. or 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. on our Daily Toker Tunes. Plus, we've got it programmed now so that the Daily Toker tune, like the one that was played this week, that Kaimani Marley tune, will be the first tune that plays after the 45 of the hour. So if you liked that tune and want to hear it again, just stay tuned during the replay blocks. Our entire schedule is available online at 420radio.org/schedule, plus a Google Calendar in your time zone. It makes it easier to figure out what time all these shows are on. Welcome back. I'm Radical Russ. We're hanging out here with Zane from the Big Island. Aloha, Zane.
What's up? Greetings, everyone.
Having a good day, that's for sure.
Yes.
We're talking about what are we smoking? We were talking about how like different areas of the country have these different trends, how like Southern California is all about cushes and Portland's all about haze and Seattle's all about diesel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been smoking on some lemon skunk. Yeah, lemon skunk's been my little top shelf stash. And then Besides that, I've just been doing some outdoor Cinex just for that more late night, kind of more relaxed time. But for my top shelf, I like that I've been on that lemon skunk.
So we're going to survey our listeners from around the country here. If you're in the chat room, post where you're at and what you're smoking. We want to know where you at.
Get
what
some
you're smoking.
demographics.
Yeah, we'll get some demographics.
Nice.
We'll start talking about that stuff.
Yes.
All right, so I wanted to get back into some other stories just real quick here. And at the bottom of the hour, I'm going to give you more details on New Approach Oregon. But I saw this story come across the Washington Post. Snoop Dogg says he smoked marijuana in the White House.
Snoop lying.
Snoop! So it's unsubstantiated, but Snoop was talking to Jimmy Kimmel on the Double G News Network, Snoop Dogg's online show, and he says he claims he smoked marijuana in the White House bathroom. And here's the transcript between Jimmy Kimmel, who opens it up, and then Snoop Dogg, who answers, and I'll do my best to impersonate the two. Have you ever smoked at the White House? In the bathroom. You did? In the White House? In the bathroom. Not in the White House, but in the bathroom. Because I said, may I use the bathroom for a second? And they said, what are you going to do? Number 1 or number 2? And I said, number 2. Who said this? The First Lady? No. The CIA, the FBI, the Alphabet Boys. So I said, look, when I do the number 2, I usually, I have a cigarette or I light something to get the aroma right. And they said, you know what? You can light a piece of napkin. And I said, I'll do that. And the napkin was this. And according to USA Today, they confirmed that Snoop Dogg, whose real name is Calvin Broadus, that he was at the White House before the Kennedy Center honors in December. So it's possible. Yes. He wouldn't be the first person to smoke in the White House, though. Of course, Willie Nelson smoked on the roof of the White House back in the 70s with President Carter's son, Chip. So that's quite interesting.
That's some news for me. As a young one.
I believe President Kennedy smoked marijuana in the White House as well, according to some biographers. All right. And what else do we have in the news here that I wanted to bring up? We've got to bring out the world's tiniest violin.
Oh, yeah.
The world's tiniest violin to play for this, the poor. That's not a violin. Oh, well. But in the Washington Post, in the style section, another story called The Lonely Lot of the Anti-Pot Crusader. And talks about this 47-year-old father of 3 in Washington, D.C., Aaron McCormick, who's upset that all these activists in Washington, D.C. are passing, decrim and getting legalization on the ballot. And the quote I love from the piece is this: "Such is the lonely lot of today's pot opponent. Parents like McCormick, once heroes of the Just Say No 1980s, find themselves outgunned. The anti-marijuana movement has little funding or staff, little momentum, and, it appears, little audience." Ooh, how sad, how sad. And the guy says, quote, "I hope and pray that Congress will step in and shut it all down. To me, we just came out of the crack epidemic and we're still seeing its effects. Now we want to allow people to smoke marijuana 24/7? Yeah, all right. So, of course, Washington, D.C. has enormous support for decrim, enormous support for legalization. And unless Congress uses its veto power over D.C. laws, it will become legal in Washington, D.C. And according to Robert DuPont, he says, Robert DuPont, of course, was a former drug czar, an addiction specialist, a guy who profits greatly off of the prohibition of marijuana through drug testing and rehab industries. DuPont says, quote, "These guys are in a full court press coming at you from every angle. They have a bench 1,000 people deep. We've got Kevin Sabet," end quote. Kevin Sabet, age 35, first testified before the Senate against drug legalization when he was 17. And now runs the anti-pot legalization group Smart Approaches to Marijuana. "Do we want a stoned America?" asked Sabet. "Is that where we want to go at a time when America's place in the world in terms of academic and economic competitiveness is greatly threatened? Good luck." Yeah, that's what it is, Kevin. Pot smoking is what's hurting America's economic production. Has nothing to do with our crumbling infrastructure, lack of funding for education, overpopulation, too few teachers, a growing wealth disparity between the rich and the poor, inability for even full-time working couples to put their kids through college. That has nothing to do with it. We got to keep pot illegal. There's already 28 million people in America smoking pot every year. There's already 1 million people in America smoking pot every day. And we still see American economic competitiveness rising. We still see our gross domestic product rising. We still see our output per worker hour, our productivity rising. All right. So he continues to point out that it's going to be the Wall Street sharks that are hoping to profit from a nationwide cannabis industry as large and as powerful as the booze or tobacco businesses. Let's see if I can find the other part in here. Where do you get to? Parents movement, middle class parents, DARE, etc. Yeah, so this is out on the Washington Post, the lonely lot of the anti-pot crusader. These poor guys, poor anti-pot crusaders. Gotta feel so bad for them. Not. So that's some of the other news that's happening in the world of weed today. And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, I'm going to spend the rest of the hour giving you some of the nitty gritty wonky details of New Approach Oregon's proposal to legalize marijuana in the state of Oregon in 2014. You're listening to the Russ Belville Show on 420radio.org.
Elitist. Just like any other dishwashing, burger flipping, public school educated, self-employed, bar band, musician, National Guardsman, he's Radical Russ.
.420 Radio, turning red states and blue states green. At Royal Queen Seeds, we've got premium feminized cannabis seeds, including auto-flowering varieties for the medical cannabis user. We've got bulk shipments available and new CBD oil. Plus, we accept payment in Visa, MasterCard, and Bitcoin, as well as other methods. Check out our website at royalqueenseeds.com for more information. We are located in the Netherlands, and we have online grow experts ready to help you now at Royal Queen.
Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rogers thinks it's okay for medical marijuana patients like Larry Harvey to go to prison and lose their constitutional rights. Even though Washington has had a medical marijuana law protecting patients like Larry since 1998, on May 30th, Congresswoman McMorris Rogers voted against an amendment that would protect Washington patients.
I voted to send Kathy McMorris Rogers to Congress, and she voted to send me to prison.
Is the Congresswoman out of touch with Washington?
I'm Radical Russ Belville, and I want to thank you for listening to 420 Radio. We couldn't survive without you and our sponsors, and I'd like you to check out one of our prime sponsors, the National Cannabis Coalition. I've been working with NCC since June of 2012, and I'm proud to be part of the team they have assembled. National Cannabis Coalition is building the partnerships with reformers, lawmakers, and industry we need to be successful. Visit the National Cannabis Coalition website at nationalcannabiscoalition.com or the easier-to-remember ncc420.com. That's where you'll get the exclusive first look at my radical rants, as well as informative articles from the nation's top cannabis pundits. Visit ncc420.com today, and if you have your phone handy, text Russ to 420-420 to support NCC and 420 Radio. It's a free text message that helps us help you end adult marijuana prohibition. Learn more at ncc420.com, and thanks for supporting independent marijuana legalization public radio.
Drop it on the one.
Yeah! One by one, we're gonna drop it on the one. It's like a great thing. 2 by 2, that's how we do.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. Almost a quarter after the hour. That's music from CI with Homegrown from 2011. I'm Radical Russ. Going to give you a little more details now. I'll get a little wonky for you. We talked with Anthony Johnson earlier in hour 1. And if you missed that interview, Anthony Johnson's the chief petitioner of New Approach Oregon, the ballot initiative to legalize marijuana in Oregon that will be voted on in November. And if you want to catch that interview, stay tuned for our replay at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern, and you can catch that Anthony Johnson interview. It'll also be replayed at 6 and 9 in the morning tomorrow. Plus, you'll be able to get it on demand from our website at 420radio.org. But I've got a piece up on hightimes.com right now that is titled 11 Features of Oregon's Marijuana Legalization Initiative. For those of you who missed the interview or don't know the details, I just thought I would run down the most important parts of Oregon's Marijuana Legalization Initiative. First of all, when it comes to possession, 1 ounce of dried usable marijuana away from the home, 8 ounces or a half pound of dried usable marijuana at your home, 16 ounces, that's a pound, of infused marijuana edibles, 72 ounces, that's a 6-pack of 12-ounce cans, right, of marijuana-infused liquids, a half gallon, folks, and 1 ounce of marijuana concentrate. It specifically legalizes concentrates. Now, in addition to these possessions, now the 1 ounce away from the home, 8 ounces at the home, is meant to protect you with your home grow. You get a 4-plant home grow, you get 2 ounces per plant, you got 8 ounces, you're not immediately over the limits. But then some people I talk to, they're like, well, dude, I can get a lot more than 2 ounces per plant. I can get a quarter pound a plant. I can get a pound a plant, whatever. Okay, totally understood. Here's the good news with that regard. Not only is the possession of less than an ounce, 8 ounces, 16 ounces, 72 ounces, not only is that all legal, but the possession of up to twice those amounts is decriminalized. That means it'd just be a Class B ticket. You just get a ticket for it if you have up to 2 ounces outside the home, up to a pound of marijuana in your home, up to 2 pounds of edibles, up to a gallon of liquids, and up to 2 ounces of concentrates. All the way up to that, just a ticket. So whatever is legal, double that is just a ticket. Then 4 times, up to 4 times those amounts, that is double what is decriminalized, will just be a Class B misdemeanor. Now, it's still a misdemeanor. It's a crime. You might, get a substantial fine, maybe even do some jail time. But what that's saying is up to 2 pounds of marijuana at home, up to a quarter pound of marijuana outside the house, up to 4 pounds of edibles, and up to 2 gallons of liquids, and up to a quarter pound of concentrate will just be a misdemeanor. You have to have over 4 times the legal amount before you hit a felony. That's wonderful. So even if you do harvest your 4 plants and you came up with 4 ounces per plant, you're still just looking at a ticket. And just between you and me, how's anybody gonna know? Once you once you legalize marijuana and you legalize home cultivation, you've taken away probable cause for police officers to search your house based on the smell of pot, a neighbor saying they saw pot being grown, them going through your trash and finding seeds and stems, them casing you and following you to find you going to and from the grow store, buying a whole lot of soil, you buying a whole bunch of lights and stuff, you putting silver reflective stuff up on your windows, having a high electricity bill, having a drug dog alert at your house. None of that is possible after legalization. So how are they going to know? Concentrates. Now, the concentrate thing is a little controversial for some people. You can possess store-bought hash oil. Now, when we're talking about concentrates here, they're only talking about those using solvents as extracts. Solvents for the extraction process, right? In fact, let me bring up the definition here of extract. Marijuana extract means a product obtained by separating resins from marijuana by solvent extraction, using solvents other than vegetable glycerin, such as butane, hexane, isopropyl alcohol, ethanol, and carbon dioxide. Someone in the chat room had asked about isopropyl. Yes, that would be considered an extract, and you couldn't do that at home without a producer's license. This does not affect making bubble hash, making finger hash, collecting keef. That's all cool. It doesn't affect medical marijuana patients. It does not change the Oregon Medical Marijuana Act in any way. Now, does the Oregon Medical Marijuana Act allow you to make concentrates at home? It doesn't say. So, maybe there's a gray area there, but the way I'm looking at this, homemade concentrates won't be legal. It will be banned. It will be prohibited for you to own, to have, to possess homemade concentrates. The only ounce of concentrate that will be legal is the ounce that you buy from a store, or the stuff you make, the BHO you make as a licensed producer. Okay. So if you're somebody who likes making your homemade BHO, sorry, you're going to have to spend $12.50 to get your producer license. You're going to have to be inspected and tested. Now, you don't have to sell. It can all be for your personal use. But there's going to have to be some level of responsibility here. And for anybody that's complaining about this, don't level your complaints at the people who wrote New Approach Oregon. Level your complaints at the idiots who blew the walls off their apartment complex and burned their toddler and made the front page headline 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock late night news, right? Blame those people for creating the situation where it's expected that we can't handle making our own solvent extracts at home. I think this is a very, very wise move, because that sign, that visual of walls being blown out of homes and kids getting burned is one of the very few pieces of ammunition that our opponents might have against these kind of things. Now, the home grow. We mentioned the home grow. You can have 4 plants. Now, it is a kind of a bummer. It's 4 plants per household. It's not 4 plants per person. But it doesn't affect people who are growing under the Oregon Medical Marijuana Act, so they could still have their 6 mature, 18 immature. The 4 plants, it doesn't matter whether they're mature or immature, so you could have up to 4 mature plants, which is actually better than Colorado. You only get 3 mature plants in Colorado. And just like the possession limits, you have to have, if you have double the amount of plants, up to 8 plants is just a Class B misdemeanor. You'd have to have 9 or more before you're in Class B felony territory. The driving part, we did not include any per se DUID. No change in the marijuana and driving laws. However, there is a part that says that the Liquor Control Commission does have to engage in scientific studies of impairment as it relates to THC in the blood and report those studies to the legislature as recommendations on future driving laws. That's a good thing, folks. We're forcing them to have to go to the science, and the science is on our side. It's going to show that you can't tell whether someone's impaired based on their THC levels alone. There is a new law added, though. Use of marijuana while driving will be a Class B traffic violation. It's a ticket. If you're smoking a joint while driving, you'll get a ticket. Oh boy, gee whiz. Here's a suggestion. Don't smoke pot and drive. Jeez. All right. The commercial licenses. We mentioned the commercial licenses. There's 4 levels: producer, processor, wholesaler, retailer. Application for a license is $250, non-refundable, and the license is $1,000 a year. Anybody, resident or not, can hold any type of license, as many or as few as they like. There's no vertical integration. There's no tied house requirements, although you can be vertically integrated if you want to be. If you want to be the grower, processor, wholesaler, and retailer of your own little pot empire, $5,000 gets you all 4 of those licenses. $5,000. Bans and moratoria. Cities and counties, Anthony Johnson mentioned this, they copied the law with alcohol. Currently, a city or county in Oregon can ban alcohol. They can ban bars. They can ban breweries, right? They can do that. But they have to do it in an even numbered election year, and they have to do it by getting a petition on the ballot that has to be voted on by the people. So yes, New Approach does give cities and counties the local option to ban marijuana, but they can never ban your personal possession or your home grow. They can only ban the commercial aspects of it by not allowing licensing. But they have to have a vote of the majority of the people to be able to enact that ban. And even if they do manage to enact that ban, they don't get a slice of the marijuana tax pie. It is specifically written in the law that 10% of the money made from marijuana taxes goes to the cities and 10% of the marijuana tax money goes to the counties. But after July 1st, 2017, that will be distributed based on how many licensed producers, processors, wholesalers, and growers are producers, processors, wholesalers, and retailers are in a city or county. Half of it based on producer, processor, wholesaler. The other half based on retailer licenses. So, if a city banned all 4 types of licenses, they would lose their cut of the 10% of the marijuana tax money. If they banned just retail shops, but allowed growers, processors, and wholesalers, if they banned just the retail shops, they'd lose half of their slice of the 10% of the pie. So there is a lot of economic incentive here for these cities and counties to allow for pot shops. Now, as I was mentioning with the taxes, in addition to 10% to the cities and 10% to the counties, 40% goes to the Common School Fund, 20% to mental health, alcoholism, and drug services, 15% to the state police, and 5% to the Oregon Health Authority. Now, I've actually had some people complain, why are we giving 15% to the state police? Why are we giving money to the cops that have been trying to bust us all this time? Political practicality. First of all, there are new marijuana laws. There's commercial laws that'll have to be enforced, and the state police are going to have to do some of that, if the Oregon Liquor Control Commission calls them in on something. So there's that, legitimacy of it, but also just the political practicality of it. Cops get a large share of their budget based on marijuana asset forfeitures and based on the grants they get for marijuana arrests. So they're going to lose money through legalization. We kick them a little slice of the pie. I don't think they're going to endorse legalization per se, but I really think that they are going to not be as loudly against it. I think they may hold their tongue. I think they may just shut up a little bit to see how this thing works out so they don't end up losing a bunch of money. Advertising can be restricted or even banned by the Oregon Liquor Control Commission. I think it'll work out like alcohol or tobacco. There'll be some advertising, but it'll be pretty limited. Public use of marijuana is banned. There will be no public use. We will see how that works out. We saw in Colorado where they have no public use, where they did manage to have the Colorado Symphony put on an event at a private location as a VIP only invite and allow on-site consumption. I think we'll see something similar happen here in Oregon, especially in Portland, Multnomah County, where we already have some medical marijuana patient lounges. Oh, and by the way, your home grow, your 4-plant home grow has to be out of public view. It has to be somewhere where the public cannot see it with unaided eyes. So you can't just have out in your front yard, 4 pot plants growing. I don't know why the public view is such a big deal, although maybe it's a security thing, right? You don't want to advertise that you got pot that people might want to come by and swipe. And then finally, and most important, medical marijuana is completely unaffected by this law. It specifically states in the law that the Medical Marijuana Act shall not be affected or amended in any way. So it's got a protection there that we did not find in Washington State's law for sure. All right, folks, that's all the time we got here for Hour 2, Toker Talk Radio. Thanks for joining us. And support New Approach Oregon all you can, newapproachoregon.com. And Anthony Johnson and I will be appearing at the International Cannabis Business Conference on September 13th and 14th here in Portland, Oregon at the Oregon Convention Center. We'll have a whole lot more information on the New Approach Oregon plan once that happens. We don't have an initiative number yet. We should know next week what our initiative number will be, and then we'll start getting out bumper stickers and yard signs and t-shirts and all that stuff, and we'll make that available through 420radio.org. For Big Island Zane, I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, take care of each other, Tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it, you